Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60 and an episode on the DCT swap. This is going to be, and it's going to be pretty quickly, this is going to know whether this DCT swap works. So in yesterday's video, sorry if it was a bit plain or blasé, but it was just, I just didn't go to plan over the weekend getting this box swapped over. And the biggest issue was the flywheel bolts. Luckily, JB, a 0 to 60 member, he had spare manual flywheel bolts, which he ran up to me today. So, and with his help, it took about 2 hours, but we got the DCT, the flywheel mounted up, and the transmission is in the car. Now, one of the reasons I didn't go too nuts in the detail on yesterday's video is, with the wiring, I don't know if what I've done is going to work. So what I've done with the wiring, I've tapped into the fuel pump module and the wiring in the center console. That's it. So I haven't run any wires to the DME box. It was really easy to wire this in, if this is going to work. And we're going to find out shortly. But yeah, once I know it works, I'll explain it in a bit more detail how it's done. But yeah, I haven't really, apart from repinning 3 wires in here, that's all I did. So, you may have noticed in that shot just before, we have the DCT fluid. Now the box is obviously completely empty of fluid. I actually flushed the automatic transmission cooler with DCT fluid, and I filled up the transmission cooler. So as this gearbox got connected, the trans cooler is full of oil, and I also, these fittings have leaked since forever, so they've been all pulled apart and actually sealed with thread locker. We'll see if they actually seal this time. Guys, I'm nervous. Basically what I need to do, I need to see if the car will start, and then I've got to get temperature in the gearbox to set the DCT fluid, pretty much like you do with the ZF6s. I can't put it off. I've just got to start it, see if it works, see what errors we get. I did spend most of this morning trying to get WinKFP to work, and it just hates me, that software. Yeah, I cannot flash the combi with the right software to display on the dash cluster. There's the key. To display on the dash cluster as a DCT. I was trying to do this last night, but basically my dash cluster still looks like an auto. Okay, let's just see what happens. Like, without the car running, the shifter doesn't do anything. I can't push the sports button. But let's see if the car will start. Wires everywhere. Okay. Whoa. Okay, the exhaust is off. That's why it's so loud. Okay, we've still got the auto dash cluster. I want to see if it'll let me put it into neutral. Hey, it's displaying DCT stuff. Drive, reverse, neutral. The transmission is working. Okay. What I'll do, I'll run it for a few seconds, I'll add some more DCT fluid, and then I'll try and actually let it drive. I don't want to drive it now because right now there's just not enough oil in that transmission to work properly. Okay. I'll run it for a few more seconds and I'll top it up and you'll see me in a sec. Okay, so it took about another, I feel like it took about 3 litres of fluid then. So this is going to be the second startup and we'll see if we can actually drive. So as it sits there, that's obviously in park, that displays park. Turn the ignition on. Now it won't let me select neutral or anything when the engine's not running, which I think is normal DCT behaviour. I think, I'm not 100% sure. Let's start it up again, and it is very fumey and noisy with no exhaust. Okay. Just gonna rev it a little bit. Just wanted to hear if the flywheel's very noisy. Yeah, I think I can just hear a little bit of flywheel noise. All right, this is the moment of truth. Foot is gonna be hard on the brake. We've got drive, we're in D1. I think it's working. I'm gonna try sports mode. It's gone to sports mode, sports 1. Do my paddles work? No, I didn't think my paddles were gonna work. The paddles don't work. Let's see if it'll shift. Manual 2, that's second gear. Alright, slow the wheels down. I don't want to put any load on it. Actually, I want to see if... will it go sports? Hey, we've got a sports button! And we've got the sports logo. So what I'm thinking is weird. I thought DCTs are supposed to have a square around the gear that you're in. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But you can go second. It won't let me select third. Wow. Alright. We'll go reverse. Okay, I'm in neutral, that's fine. We're now in reverse. The take-up looks a little violent. It'll be interesting to see what it does on the ground. Back to drive. Seems to be running. Alright. I'm going to run it through the gears a bit. So we're in sports mode 1. Shift. 2. And you can see we got some speed there. I'll put the cluster lights on. So we're doing 10 k's an hour. It won't let me shift into third. We'll turn DCT off. Okay. Third. Won't give me third. It could be because we're going too slow. Won't come out of second. First. Yeah, we might have some problems there. It won't shift into third. Go back to D. So I'm guessing maybe it's like a road speed issue. It won't select third when I'm going that slow. All right, that's enough. I need to actually see how hot this transmission's getting. All right. You probably shouldn't do that when you're filling the transmission, but hey, I was excited. It seems to be working. The wiring's working. All right, let's get this fluid checked off. Okay, so I just hooked up the MHD dongle and I've selected transmission temp. And we are actually a little bit too hot to set the oil level. So I'm going to turn it off and basically let some heat come out, because you're supposed to set, from what I read, the trans temp when it's under 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But at least MHD is picking up the transmission temp, so that's pretty cool. Guys, this is... Obviously we don't know until we drive the car if the gearbox is good, because this was in the wrecked car. I haven't actually driven it. But so far, things are looking okay. Oh, this is brilliant. All right. Wow, wow. Okay, I just checked that post and it is actually under 104. So we've just got enough time to do it. Oh my God, it's so fumey. I can't... All right, I think you can see the temperature, the transmission is just at 100 or 99 Fahrenheit. And we've got a steady stream of oil coming out of the DCT. Alright, I'm going to try and cap it off. Everything is very slippery from all the exhaust fumes. I think I'm getting a little bit high. Or about to pass out, one of the two. Now, I absolutely don't need to do this, but I'm just going to start it again. We've got an ABS error, and I think it's because I've just been driving it without the front wheels on the ground. When I had this car on the dyno, the second dyno pull, it threw an ABS error. I guess it just needs to calibrate the ABS, and it basically wants to make sure that all 4 sensors are moving at the right speed. I'm pretty sure that's going to be fine. If you run this car with the auto like I just have, it would have that error. So I think that's fine. But just talking about a few things. So the combi doesn't display like a DCT combi, I'm pretty sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Errors in the iDrive. If we can just go back to C. I shouldn't have done that. I'll do it later. Menu. Info sources. Service. Check control messages. Okay, so the DSC failure is all because of basically running it when it's not in gear. But that's it. That's it. Before I started the car, we had no errors. So let's try it again. We have a DCT. Oh. You have to push that. Drive. Sports. Ah. Back to neutral. Back to park. And yeah, you can't, it works. Everything works. Even, that's sick. Messages up on there. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because I don't think C equipped cars could have a DCT. I gotta turn off, these fumes are terrible. Right guys, so with the wiring, I'm gonna post up again AJL's wiring diagram, which I had floating around in the cabin somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. So what I've done different to AJL's, he had, you know, let me go and show you on the computer on the wiring diagram, because that'll be the easiest way to show it. But yeah, I had to repin one pin different, and it was for the park brake, where is it? Oh, I've cut it off now. But that was the black park brake pin for the original ZF6, and I repinned that. I changed that from AJL's, and I'm using this Cat 6 cable for now, and that's just tapped into the PCAN or PT CAN bus at the EKP module, and also the power wire, which is this wire here. It's just powering everything from there. But it's worked. I've got to tidy up all this wiring. I'm going to shorten things and basically make it look a lot nicer, but I think the wiring's good. But I'm going to end this video off. Actually, we'll go into the house and I'll show you on the wiring what I've done to make this work, because I'm not aware of anyone that's done it or documented doing an MSD80 car without running wires through the firewall, pretty much. I'm sure someone has, but no one's spoken about it, so that's pretty good. The actual wiring side was much easier than I was expecting it to be. Anyway, I'll see you inside at the computer. Okay guys, so hopefully you can hear me all right, but what I've got here is the original wiring that I've based my wiring modifications on. Now, the gentleman on the forum that listed this, which will be in the Spool Street link below, he come up with this wiring with the intention of not needing to run wires into the engine bay. Now, his car was an N55 vehicle, and when you have the later model vehicles, all the vehicles that come originally with MSD81s, from what I can tell, this wiring will actually work. Again, link to that in the forum. However, now because my vehicle was originally an MSD81 car, the way the shift paddles, which is this blue and yellow and blue and grey wire, the way they actually link in with the transmission, yeah, that's the right word for it, is different. So I couldn't use this wiring completely. I had to make a couple of different changes. The changes I made were I've used pin number 3 from the X14274 connector, and I've run that down and then connected that to the DCT parking lock. Now, pin number 3 on the black connector originally goes to pin number 10 on the X6031 connector, and all I've done is I've moved pin number 10 to pin number 7 on X031, and that connects this, basically this wire here on the DCT connector, to the right pin on the transmission wiring loom. And because we've now got that in pin 7, I've moved my shifter wires, which are these two, pin 7 and 8, originally from 6031, and I moved them into the terminals on X6021, 11 and 12, and that actually sorts out the shifting of the DCT. Now, the other thing that I changed, which is because I am MSD 80 originally, the original AJL wiring, he splices pin 3 and 4, which is the PT CAN bus. He splices that into this connector down here, X10545 and X10546. Again, if you're on new TIS, it shows where they are. Now, well, I guess it's going to be all vehicles. That is in the wiring harness right on the firewall, and it's the main wiring harness, which is fat. Like, I don't know, probably 50 wires in there all taped up, and I didn't want to pull that apart. So I was looking at other modules in the vehicle that run the PT CAN bus, and on an MSD80 car, the only one that's actually inside the cabin is the EKP module, the fuel pump module. So that's what I've managed, or that's what I decided to try and connect my PT CAN bus to, and lo and behold, the green and red wire, which is actually just power, it powers the DCT GWS, that is the green and red, that is, let me just bring up the wiring here. Green and red is 15 WP, and that is basically just power. This is on the gear selector switch, and let's go to the EKP module, because I was pleasantly surprised that on the fuel pumps, or the fuel pump modules, we have the PT CAN bus at pin 9 and 16, and we also have 15 WP at pin 13. So that's what I've done down here. I've got that connected to that that EKP module plug there, and it all works. I will put a link to this picture somewhere, somehow, some way. I might put it on Instagram and put a link to that. But that is how I got the wiring to work. Now, I haven't driven the car, but scanning it last night with ISTA, even without the gear and the gearbox in the car, the only error that come up on ISTA with the transmission was the gear paddles incorrect voltage, and that's because my paddles are still set up for 6AT. I'm going to attack that in a video after I've driven the car, but I think I've worked out how to switch those paddles from the 6AT paddles into the DCT paddles, because I kind of want to keep them looking how they are. But yeah, that's how we're going to end it off. The wiring has worked. The DCT swap is well underway. I'll get this video edited and hopefully get most of the car put back together tonight, tidy up the wiring, and then with any luck, we'll take it for its first drive tomorrow. Guys, thank you very much for watching. And if you've got any technical questions about wiring the DCT, especially on a basically up to February 2008, that is the wiring. Well, my car will be the same wiring as that. So if you've got any questions, let me know. It's pretty easy and you don't need to run wires into the engine bay. Hooking into the fuel pump module is super easy because you're already there with the center consoles out. All right, I'm ending it. Thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.